What is up, everybody? It is your boy, King K Sloth, also known as Sloth, also known as Bear Sloth, but really mostly just known as Keith, Keith Cousins. I am a dude who has fallen in love with Magic the Gathering. Let's just be real here. So, this stream, these YouTube videos are really, for me, first and foremost, to really document this newfound kind of competitive spirit and drive that I have for Magic the Gathering, specifically for the standard format of Magic the Gathering, which there has been a really big emphasis lately to kind of push that format in particular. It's a rotating format. It's the most current cards. Um, and it seems like Wizards of the Coast, who makes Magic the Gathering, has really just kind of focused on that. It's kind of every other competitive format these days in terms of the huge tournaments. So yeah, and what kind of inspired all of this was I recently, with my wonderful fiance, was at MagicCon Las Vegas, and less than 2 years into my kind of journey into Magic the Gathering, and I just fell in love with the community, with the scene, with the competition, with even more in love with the collecting of the cards, just everything. Just could not get enough of it. Everything from watching Javier Dominguez win Worlds to playing in my first sealed event, which was a Pro Tour qualifier, which spoiler alert, 0-3. But it happens, and everything from that to trading in a bunch of old cards I had stored up for other formats. I was thinking of maybe putting those towards, new cards for standard staples like Cavern of Souls, some other cool cards, just going on the hunt, and really kind of leaving the weekend, the 3 days, just with a couple real strong, feelings. First and foremost, like I'm 39, almost 40 years old, and was looking for a hobby, was looking for something to kind of spend my free time on, was looking for something that was competitive, was intellectually engaging, was, all of the things that I personally look for in a hobby. And of course, it being 2024, you can't just have a hobby. There's always got to be those well, how could my other skills, add value to this community while also adding value to my, bank account? There's those thoughts too, but I think first and foremost, it's just like, I love this game. I love what I've seen from the in-person community. I love just the collecting. I love the cards. I love the art. You know, it just grabbed me there, and really just kind of left after a great conversation with Jim Davis, who kind of got me hooked, 2 years ago to Magic to begin with. Um, Really just he, encouraged me, hey, start showing up. Start showing up to events with the goal of, leaving the event better at Magic than you were when you got there. And that's what I plan on starting to do, beginning with Saturday. I don't know when I'm going to upload this to YouTube, hopefully Friday, the day before Foundations. I'm going to go to a Foundations pre-release, which is the newest kind of standard set. And gonna, again, not trying to win the whole thing, but I want to learn, I want to grow, and I want to leave a little bit better of a Magic player than before. And with all that said, the idea in mind is to start competing in some of these standard regional championship qualifiers. Some of my local game stores are doing weekly standard tournaments and events now. So really just kind of want to go all in on standard. As you can see, and we're starting here, I am at Bronze Tier 2, which is one of the lower bronze ranks. Bronze is the low of the low. I think each one is 4, like Tier 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is 4. So, like, somehow I got ranked in the middle of Bronze 2 for this month. Um, I'd like to say it's because I focused all of my attention on Limited last month, and in a large part it was. I was prepping to try to do decently at the sealed event in Las Vegas at MagicCon. But so I'm starting at the bottom. We are starting at kind of the very bottom in terms of the ranking. We're not, either we're not at like the kind of first days of the ranking reset. So yeah, we'll see what kind of opponents we face. We'll see what kind of uh, games we actually get into. We'll see what sort of decks we're facing against. But just wanted to start here and show, where I'm at. I am at Bronze Tier 2. And we're starting kind of at the bottom, and we're going to kind of learn and grow. And before we kind of jump into games, just wanted to jump into decks here a little bit. And I feel like that's a little loud as far as the in-game audio. So let me Midjourney here. And we'll go back to it. So these first kind of 6 decks are where I'm at as far as thinking about paper Magic, thinking about in-person Magic and Standard. Particularly these two, I guess, 4 sets or 4 decks that fall into kind of 2, color schemes. Dimir, blue-black, and Golgari, which is green-black. We have the Dimir midrange, which is a really classic kind of type of deck. A lot of quick flying creatures, a lot of tempo, a lot of removal and counter spells, and most importantly, which I've learned in a short period of time, is card advantage. Card advantage being you start with 7 cards, but you only draw 1 per turn unless you have cards or other mechanisms of drawing additional cards. So you can, on the 7th or 8th turn of the game, you still have 4 or 5 cards, and your opponent only has 2. Odds are, hopefully, you're in a lot better position than they are. So this Dimir midrange was played by Kai, and I'm going to butcher his last name. He is a legend in Magic. This was played by Kai Bud, Budde, Kai Bud, and I apologize if I'm butchering that name. He was in the top 8. He got 8th place. This is kind of a classic, like I said, mid-range. The other kind of blue-black deck we're playing was actually played by Javier Dominguez to win the whole event. Kind of similar to the Dimir mid-range shell, but it uses a couple different cards, particularly this new package. And we're going to talk about that more, so I'm not going to jump right into it yet. And there's a new package that involves kind of demon cards, Archfiend of the Dross being one, and an enchantment really being the key, Unholy Annex, whereas the classic midrange uses kind of, I would say, more traditional means of card generation, including one new, this cute little kitty cat right here, to draw additional cards. Our green-black options are Golgari midrange. Again, just a really classic, generates card advantage in a few ways, including, who's on the deck cover here, the Mosswood Dread Knight. Generates card advantage, has a lot of removal, has a few big threats, and really just kind of can do more of a controlling game, but can also do a more tempo, you can't keep up with me, I'm winning fairly quickly as well. And we are also have the option of playing Seth Manfield's 4th place deck from Worlds, Golgari Ramp, which is an interesting one. Speaking, I mentioned Jim Davis earlier. Jim's on the same team as Seth, and it sounds like from watching his content that kind of nobody in Worlds seemed really satisfied with their decks, but B, other than Seth, who is another legend, folks really didn't do well with this deck in Worlds. So, but it was kind of a deck that I looked at and was like, wait, what? Like, I don't understand why this is good or how this could get piloted to a 4th place victory at the World Championships of Magic. So, again, that's another reason why we're going to play it. But first and foremost, what I've really, really been leaning towards is kind of this Dimir blue-black package. In particular, I think, Demons and Javier Dominguez's list. So let's jump into that before we jump into some games here. And yeah, like I was saying, Pretty similar stuff. Like you're gonna find your fairy masterminds in a lot of the standard Dimir mid-range decks. Your removal suite, anoint with affliction, go for the throat, shoot the sheriff. You're gonna have your duresses, your cut downs. A lot of just the classic removal tempo. A couple early counter spells. But where the Demons deck comes in and gets a little different is it uses Unholy Annex, which is a new enchantment from Duskmourn, where at the beginning of the end of your turn and step, you draw a card. If you don't control a demon, you lose 2 life when you draw the card, which life is a resource too. You start with 20, so, better to have a card that'll help me end the game than have, an extra 2 life and lose the game for some other reason. But if you do control a demon, your opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This can spiral out of control really quickly, especially because if we look at the other side of the enchantment, Ritual Chamber, for 5 mana, you can basically create a 6/6 demon. And then we also have a very cool, we'll get into this a little bit, but when you talk about curve, Unholy Annex costs 3. Ideal Dream Curve, on 4, you're playing this Archfiend of the Dross, who is a huge creature, a 6/6 with flying, who's also a demon. It does do some interesting things as far as you're on a short clock, as long as you have that demon in play, that Archfiend in play. But a 6/6 can end the game very quickly, in particularly because it also has the ability of whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, your opponent loses an extra 2 life. So you can be doing a lot with this Archfiend, with the burn from Unholy Annex with the demon on the board. And then you also kind of have this other fun little demony way to finish the game. And this, honestly, like, I'm a sucker in life for, cool art and cool, graphics, whether it's cards, whether it's, the labels of beer or wine, whether it's, any, like, t-shirts, like, give me cool graphics and I'm going to be interested in it. So when I saw this art for this card, I was like, I want to play this deck. This guy is an interesting kind of combo finisher that you have the option of too, because when he enters, each player basically removes the majority of their cards except the bottom 6 cards, so you get 6 cards basically, and then it also triggers an extra card draw. But you can combo him with things like Jace to basically in one turn end the game. And mill out your opponent to where they go to draw a card. Oops, you don't have any cards, you lose. So yeah, the deck just appealed to me. I noticed I wasn't showing the sideboard. We have a few things in the sideboard, and with the sideboard in mind, again, this is for me, because if it wasn't for me, I would be playing best of 1. But what I hear a lot is best of 1 is not real Magic, and kind of makes a lot of sense because real Magic is a best of 3. Because real Magic involves, in between games, you can prepare a sideboard of 15 cards and kind of mix and match based on the matchup and based on kind of what you're seeing in your opponent, and hopefully give you a better chance of winning, or hopefully give you a better chance of making it a 2-0 and not having to go to game 3. So that was kind of a long diatribe, but kind of bottom line, over the next few weeks, maybe a few years, maybe a few months, maybe who knows, I'm again going to be kind of recording this pursuit of learning standard Magic the Gathering. And yeah, I hope some of y'all will come along for the ride. If not, all good. Again, this is just kind of my way of, keeping myself in check and keeping myself, moving towards this goal and really discovering what competitive Magic is all about. So with all that said, let's jump into some games with Javier Dominguez's Dimir Demons deck from the World Championship. So we are going to find a match. We are going to switch to best of 1, and we are going to go to ranked. We want to do ranked. We want the real deal here. You know what I mean? We don't want any of this kind of, and wishy-washy, you know. You know, janky stuff, which jank is fun. Random jank decks are very fun, but the goal here is to learn competitive, to learn best of 3, and we're going to start with demons. So let's just jump into it and see what happens here, folks. Again, no idea what's going to happen, but we're going to try it. We're playing demons. I'm going to hopefully talk through kind of what I'm seeing, talk through kind of my thought process. If you're watching this on YouTube for some reason, A, let me direct you to some cooler content creators, but B, thank you, and feel free to kind of be like, hey, like your thought process here was almost right. Hey, thought process here was like completely wrong. Here's why. I have a very crazy backbone. I can take criticism as long as it's constructive. So we're going against Void Reaver. They are our opponent. They are also in bronze. Choose if you will draw first or play first. I feel like you're just kind of, even though you don't get that first card draw, you're kind of at an advantage when you play first. So I'm going to click play first, which means I go first. And here we are. Okay, so we have 2 lands here. This one, I only get access to my swamps or my black mana. If I control another island or swamp, this comes in tapped. But I think we're okay here. An early aggro deck might be a little rough, but we're going to keep. And we're going to, because we have 2 ritual chambers, we have some early stuff we can do. Generally, I'm unsure about keeping 2 land hands. I prefer a 3 land hand, but we're going to try it out. We're going to see what happens. So let's start with the Restless Reef, because again, we don't know what our opponent's playing. 9 times out of 10 they're going to be playing an aggressive deck, but they're not. So we didn't get punished there for playing that aggressive deck first. And now we'll just play and pass. And this looks like it could be a Golgari mid-range deck. Yes, so they are going to exile one of my cards. They chose not to exile any of my cards, which is interesting to say the least here. So we want to do something, and like let's make them have, they could have a Terra Sunder, which is a 1 and a forest, or 1 and a green, that basically lets them get rid of an enchantment. But they can't do that immediately, and so I will be able to draw another card, and we'll go from there. And we'll see what happens. They have their own, okay. So it's a little bit of like the green white shell versus, or sorry, the green black shell versus the blue black shell, using the same kind of cards. Now, I think I'm just gonna pass the turn here, get my extra card. Land is not bad. These both come in tapped, which is not the greatest. Are they doing... Okay, so I am going to respond with Fairy Mastermind because they're drawing an extra card. So I will be able to also draw an extra card because of this creature's abilities. So this is an untapped land, which is huge because we want to get to this as quick as possible. So we can... And let's just go ahead and kill that too. Even though it gets a little... Oh, see... This was my first mistake. If I would have played that, I would have exiled. Wouldn't be back here in their hand. So that kind of stinks. So I can... They don't have any mana up. Let's attack for 2. And then they likely have removal. But I feel like we should make them have removal. So I'm going to play the other side of this enchantment, draw my card, but also burn 2 and gain 2. Seemed good there. Again, they likely have... Okay, they're going to duress, so we'll see what they remove. They remove my Jace, which is kind of that combo finisher I was talking about. That kind of allows you... Okay, there we go. So that gets rid of my demon. With the fairy up here, I'm benefiting so greatly from them drawing these extra cards with their enchantment. Let's see. So Archfiend, and I'll still be able to keep up removal depending on what they do. So that's probably what I'm going to do. But again, I don't want them to have a ton of information. So instead, I'm going to hit them first, and then I'm going to do my play. End turn, I have 3 different removals. They're at 5. I'm at 20. I'm feeling pretty good about this game. They're going to get rid of the Archfiend, which is fine. Because we do have another Unholy Annex we can play, which is nice. But then they just scoop. For whatever reason, they looked at their hand and they just do not have what it's going to take. So let's think about kind of our sideboard plan here. Is there any additional... I know they have Mosswood, but Anoint feels better than Cut Down, so I'm going to remove my Cut Down. I'm going to add another Anoint that also hits the tokens from Unholy Annex. I'm also going to... I kind of want to bring in this enchantment removal, which seems good. And maybe be able to get rid of some creatures as well. I don't think we're going to do the combo, so I'm going to get rid of Jace. I'm going to bring in this. I'm going to bring in one of these. And we're getting rid of Jace, we might as well get rid of this. And let's bring in a couple, negate. Take out negate. I'm going to bring in my Lilianas. And again, I'm still learning sideboarding. Not something I'm super strong at or familiar with. But we're going to see. We're going to see what they did. Okay, yeah, I like this. We have the ability to get rid of their Unholy Annex. We have some turn 2 plays. I'm going to keep. I'm going to immediately duress, check out what they have in their hand. Let's get rid of their duress, because I kind of like my hand and I don't want them to mess with it. So the question is, do we play Bronco? They have removal, or we can play Spell Stutter. They're only going to have 3 mana next turn, so they're not going to... Yeah. Let's kind of tempo them out a little, and we got to hope we draw another land on this next turn. And here's the tempo I was talking about. They will go to the graveyard, and unfortunately we do not have any land. So let's turn. They are outdrawing us here, which is really crappy. So we'll just destroy it. Land here would be great. Not land. So let's just play the Bronco. I need to do something here. This is not looking as good for us this game. Yeah. Really not looking great for us here. Okay, we just need to draw. We need to draw a card. Still not looking great. This might be a loss here. Give myself a little bit of a chance, but yeah, only having 2 lands is, like you can see, 6-3. They can just do a whole lot more than I can. Draw. No lands. That's kind of it. So we're just going to concede. And move on to game 3. And it would be I'm going to keep this same thing. Honestly, I think our issue was not drawing lands. Um, it would be really funny to lose our first game on stream here, but it's kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I will be on the play. 3-land hand, we will take that. And let's see if we can win game 3 here. Swamp. Again. Yeah, because we could have the ideal curve, so let's do this. Let's get our Unholy Annex back on. I like this curve. And when you say curve, you're talking about just kind of like, when I have 2 lands, I can play this, and the next turn I'm going to have 3 and can play this, and next turn 4, and so on and so forth. So when I had 3, I was able to probably get rid of my... Yeah, they don't have a lot of good options for stuff to get rid of right here, which feels nice. Unless they have another duress. No, they do not. That's fine. Let's just play our first Archfiend. I'm sure it's going to get killed, but we get a little advantage here. We draw another land. Great. Play Dread Knight and likely, yeah. Alrighty. Let's make them have another removal. And get the advantage here. A duress is nice. We can kind of mess with their hand a little bit. So we still do have access to this 6/6. Shelly. That is what I was waiting for. Immediately get rid of that before we even draw a card. Now we draw. Let's play one of our tapped lands. Honestly, let's just get into their hand and see what they have. Okay, they have things. They can, if they get, yeah. Okay, so this Glissa is kind of scary because if they do damage to me, they can take out my Unholy Annex. So that's a little scary, so we're going to be looking for that. Just get in, though, and try to finish this game quickly. And we'll end turn. And unless they have a removal, we're pretty good. Looks like they're digging for removal. Okay. So he's going to use this Liliana to try to make me sacrifice a creature. That's what Fairy is kind of just... Oh, okay. He's going to cut it down. Then they're going to sacrifice... Yeah. So now I have to get rid of him. Okay. And they're going to hit me for 3. Okay. Honestly, we're just going to keep making them have it until they don't. And by it, I mean removal. And hope we can finish this game. Really hope we can finish this game. This would be... Okay, discard a card. Let's discard the tapped land. They discard one of their Glissa Sunslayers. Don't think they have it. So we might see a concession here. Unless that card I can't see is a removal, I think we're good. I hope we're good. Oh, okay. But that's okay. That's entirely okay. You know why? Because we have that. So basically what would happen there is I removed this. So they're they're dead in a lot of different ways, either from this demon token attacking, from this triggering, from a lot. They're just dead a lot of different ways. So that's awesome way to start. Game 2 just kind of was rough because we just didn't draw lands, which happens. It's part of Magic. And you just kind of live and learn and move on from it and just go from there. So let's jump into another game here. Let's see. And yeah, I think I'm gonna, as far as the overall kind of streaming and making YouTube videos, I really like when the videos are, the YouTube videos are right around an hour mark. For the stream itself, I might try to do, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Definitely, at least have another, hopefully, half hour in me today, maybe 2 hours. We'll see. Yeah, we'll go from there. And again, this is entirely for me. This is entirely for, my own kind of edification and just a way to kind of just add structure to this goal I have. Because when you're on your own and you don't have like a boss or a supervisor or a teammate, yeah, we'll be on the play first. It can be really tough to. This is a great opening hand. We're just gonna keep. Yeah. It can be really, really, really tough to kind of add that structure to your life. So for me, it's just like, hey, why don't we just stream stuff? And yeah, let's look at what they're doing. Sometimes it's nice to keep the 1 mana. Okay, they're not really doing anything on turn 1, so we'll just get rid of. This allows them to kind of ramp up a little bit. So it looks like it's going to be kind of a red-green. Now we can duress again. See what this last card is. Another. I haven't seen this card. That is an old card. Let's just get rid of the frog. We're just trying to disrupt everything that they're trying to do here. Oh, that was a mistake. I played the untapped land with nothing to do when I would have liked to play the Archfiend on turn 4. Now I can't. Now I can. They don't really have a way to get rid of this, I don't think. Do we want to race them? Because the problem is that this 3 left. Yeah, I think we need to just race them. And see because when this gets to 0, I lose the game. So, but hopefully we get our card draw engine online soon. Okay. We did not. So again, we're just gonna try to kill them as quickly as humanly possible. So now they need to kill Archfiend. Hopefully they can't do 14 damage to me in a turn. We shall see. Sometimes these green-reds can 7/7 with reach. Okay, that can stop me. And they gain 7 life. Removal spell, we can win it. We don't necessarily want to land here. Okay. So ward 3. Yep. Oh, but they have. This might be the wrong move, but we're gonna try it. And it's immediately the wrong move. Yeah, we lost in a lot of different ways. So they were able to protect their armadillo. And we, yeah. So I think we're gonna get rid of. No, I'm just gonna stay as is. I feel like our deck's fine. I feel like we just kind of didn't draw any answers in time to really push the advantage that we built, and then they were able to just kind of generate their value and this looks better. We'll get rid of Jace. I would like another land, actually. I have an early removal. They're going to grab some land. They probably added in enchantment removal. So that could be interesting. But again, we're going to at least try to get some advantage out of this and make them have it. Now we have 2 removal spells, which is great. We do need to remember that they have protection. But what does this do? They're searching for a basic land. Then they create a 1/1. And then a target creature they control gets a boost. Let's play Archfiend again. Start draining. Okay. So we want to get rid of this guy because he's got reach. So can chump that. So let's do that. Attack in. And let's just look at their hand and see if we can kind of disrupt it any. This is a wacky card to have in this deck, but I get it. So we're going to get rid of it. Because they could have potentially played that next turn. And we're going to hold up removal spells. We have so many removal spells now. This is kind of a much better situation for us right now. They got another poison frog out there. Another one of their blacksmith things, which basically just makes this equipment, which is fine. And I don't know what they're really just relying all on this good boy, this poison dart frog, which is fine. But we see their hand. Just gonna take the 4. I don't need to block there. And all I need to do now is kill this poison dart frog. Again, they only have these 2 cards in their hand, so they don't have protection. Even if they did, I have enough stuff. That's game. I have enough stuff that I could have. Okay, so we'll go to game 3. It's been fun. It's kind of cool that each of these are game 3s. And again, like, I'm pretty happy. I think we just demonstrated that, like, if the deck does what it's supposed to do, like, I should have no problem beating this deck. This kind of green-red deck that our opponent Gat is playing. Gat! So yeah, we'll keep going and we'll see what is going on and what the haps is here. got a couple viewers. That's pretty cool. We got some followers. That's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Game 3. Let's see what is going to happen. Okay. Huh. I like this hand, but I don't like this hand. I think I'm gonna mulligan. Okay, this is definitely a worse hand. In a lot of ways, but yeah, I guess we'll see. We lose, we lose here. Let's just get into their hand and start messing stuff up. Take these broken wings and learn to fly again. So they brought in a lot of enchantment removal here, folks. Is the answer here? Honestly. Honestly. I'm not worried about 1 damage, so I don't need to use this go for the throat. So let's just keep messing with their hand. There's 2 of their, arena, this computer just shuffling in real life. And this is why I saved this. Oh, it can have it. That's kind of cool. Yeah, let's bring in Jace. Why not? I don't know if they can do anything to Jace.
Emotions are distractions. Focus on the facts. You can be made to obey.
Maybe they can, but I don't think they can do anything to my boy Jace. So we're just gonna keep neutering the poison dart frog. Might make a fishy here. Depends on what they do. 49. Oh, okay. This is what I was afraid of here. Okay, so they do have Chamil. Can't counter any more spells. This could be a little rough because they're going to get to do Discover, which allows them to basically go through their deck at the end of each turn and play the first card that costs 5 or less. So I need to start these graveyard, none of the graveyard, but I need to draw a card here.
We can improve upon your ideas.
Yeah, definitely needed to draw a card. And yeah, I guess we'll just next, no attacks, and go from there. And this is gonna be, it's gonna be a little tricky here, folks. It got me on my back foot a little bit with this Chamil. I didn't bring in a card that could remove artifacts. This has Ward 2, but I can still just get rid of it, so I'm going to get rid of it. Let's see, hopefully we draw something big. Okay, shoot the Sheriff. Good, not great. Draw cards. I'm like helping them so much. Okay, cool. So now we have our enabler. Hopefully that gets us where we want to be. We have enough up to destroy their creature. And we have the Excruciator, actually. We can do the combo next turn. Oh boy, I didn't think we were going to be able to do this, but I think we can do this. Right, yeah, we can do this. Ooh, okay. So, shoot the... might have protection. Let's see. Let's make them have it. They probably have it, which is going to suck. They don't have it. We save Jace. Combo secure. We should be good to do this thing next turn. Their deck's cool. I like adding this to like kind of a rampy deck, but that should be game. So we move. We each only have 6 cards, and then I can mill 9 cards from him. So that is the combo finish.
Retreat is the sensible action.
Retreat is the sensible option. And he has no more. They have no more cards. They're dead. Game 3 win. All right, victory. That's awesome. We got lucky there because when they put that artifact into play, if we didn't pull that combo, this would have kept generating so much value for them every turn. You know, they would have eventually. So very lucky they didn't have a protection spell. Really cool deck. Really like that. Gruul is what green and red are called. Kind of the nomenclature for that. And yeah, it was a very, very cool deck that we got to go against. And let's jump into another one. Let's jump into another one. Okay, we've almost been streaming for an hour. Might be the last game. This will at least probably be the last game of this first video I'm going to upload to YouTube. And I think, you know, as far as decks, right? Because you want to learn each deck, and not if I think if you jump from deck to deck to deck to deck, you're not necessarily going to learn them as well. So with that in mind, I think, you know, we're gonna at least do a couple sessions for each deck. Like I'm not just gonna do an hour one deck, an hour another. You know, although that will eventually get me there. Like, I think, you know, should at least give each deck a couple hours in a row. Wow, this is a hand. This is a 6-land hand with a 6-drop. So I could do something on the 6th turn of the game. That's kind of cool. This is a much better hand. And I think we'll get rid of that cool guy. And we'll go from there. And we'll play Restless Reef first because we don't have any cutdowns or duresses or anything really to do on turn 1. So we're going against another Golgari, which is green-black deck. Could be one of those more traditional mid-range E-decks that we faced last time that are also using the Unholy Annex. We shall see. Do we kill the Dread Knight? The problem with killing the Dread Knight in a traditional sense is that Dread Knight is super sticky, as in it sticks around. So if I kill it, if I don't exile and just kill it, they can cast it again, get the card advantage again. But, or do I try to take out their 3-drop? Yeah, I want to play Annex next turn. Let's just preserve some of our life total here. I don't like it necessarily. It's not the best play. We might get the biggest punish we could get is A, if they randomly have protection, which they don't, but B, if they then play a Liliana, they're not. They're just going to get that card value again. Play a land and path to me, which is not a bad outcome at all. So let's play our Annex because we can curve it right into Archfiend. And we have 2 Archfiends, which is really nice. So we'll see what they do next. They're gonna play Glissa. So this is kind of interesting because Glissa... I think I'm gonna prioritize killing Glissa, holding up the counter spell, and I'll take 2 more damage to get another... Okay, that was better. So I could have rushed them out, but Glissa's a gnarly card in a lot of ways, and now we can counter this next turn. They lose out on a lot. They're out of mana now. They don't really have... They probably have removal, because these decks are about removal, but now we're kind of getting a little advantage. So if you look at Glissa, it's got First Strike and Death Touch. That means it does its attack damage first, but it also has an attribute where all it needs to do is ping you for 1 damage, and you're dead. Your creature's dead. So yeah. Basically, if I tried to block it with my Archfiend, it would kill my Archfiend. Then it can also get rid of an enchantment if it does combat damage. So it's a shoot on sight sort of thing. The question is, do I want to do anything? Can I do this and hold up? Yes, I can. Okay, so I'm going to put this in play, put more pressure on them. So now they really need to kill both of these and my enchantment. And I'm holding up, yeah. And I held up a removal spell. So that was a good game 1. Again, it's interesting that like the combo seems to be the first to go, but I am gonna get rid of the combo. They probably have their own unholies, so I'm gonna put 1 enchantment removal in my deck. And do I get a little zesty? I'm just trying to think of what the best... I think Liliana would be good, because Liliana, like, just is a lot of disruption. And I think to kind of combat... Really, the only early stuff is going to be the Mosswood. Cut down doesn't get Glissa, so let's get rid of that. Let's do another Annoying with Affliction, because the Annoying with Affliction does hit Glissa. And let's get a little zesty. Do an Outrageous Robbery. Again, this is the last game of this video, probably. And Outrageous Robbery is just a fun. Again, it's just zesty. Again, we're gonna have fun too. Like, this isn't like just all try hard, but like, if I can rob Thiago HSS, I'm gonna rob them. I'm gonna take their cards and I'm gonna play their cards. And we're gonna see what happens. We are going to see what happens. Yeah, and the reason I remove the cut downs is because they really only hit like 1 of the creatures. Not good, not great. I can do this on turn 1. This or this on turn 1, which is tapped. So I kind of lose out on like a tempo duress play. But then turn 2, I'll have Annoying with Afflictions and stuff. So it's a lot of removal and disruption. It's not ideal, but I think that's why I'm going to play this first, because that allows me to kind of look at the next card. and see what that will be, and either take that card or give myself a chance to get something else. So, yeah, again, this is not, but Spell Stutter is good too. So we have a lot of. I mean, if I bin this, they're gonna have a ton of removal. But at the same time, I need more than just a ton of removal. So maybe that's a wrong decision. But I literally right now have like 3 pieces of removal. So, they did nothing on their turn. Maybe I just play another tapped and just mess and just get into their hand. Okay, so they can play Glissa next turn. I'm gonna get rid of their Go for the Throat, and I can kill Glissa before anything too terrible happens. Oh, okay, they're playing Unholy Annex. Alrighty. Alrighty. Not let them do anything with that. That is why you put that card in your deck. There's the Glissa. Point. Destroy Glissa. And we're going to just move on. We have a counter if they decide to play something like that. Okay, so we have a removal spell up. This gives them some card advantage. I kind of want to remove it. But let's see what I draw. Let's see what I draw next turn. Just a land. Let's get rid of it. I just don't want to give up any more tempo than I already have given up this game. Hit you with my fish. Ooh. Death by 1,000 cuts is kind of our strategy right now because we don't really have anything else going. They have another Unholy Annex. Crap. Okay, so we are going to sacrifice the fish. Goodbye, fish. Thank you for all of your hard work. Draw a card. Would have loved that on a different turn. And Tranquil can kill that. Okay. So that's not great. Let's see this other card they're working with. Get rid of the other card they're working with. And let's, instead of doing this, because it's just gonna get killed, likely. Let's at least do some board pressure. That was a choice, right? Because this creature can destroy this, and likely that's what they'll do. So at the very least, like, I want some value out of it. So I made the demon. Because, yeah, they're going to immediately, more than likely, like, they have the energy. They'll probably gain 4 lives. Yeah, they're going to gain 4. I might even exile my graveyard, too, for some reason. So they just exile my grave. Okay, they did all 3. That's fine. So now I think we just want to pressure. And we'll see what happens. They should be able to eventually draw. Yeah, so here's the removal. But at least we can get some value out of it. Because we can sacrifice it. Yeah, so we're gonna sacrifice a token. We're gonna draw a card. We got a little value out of that. Jeez, I am just drawing nothing but lands right now. That kind of hurts. And they made their 6/6. Okay. Alrighty. So what is the move here? Honestly, I think we just keep pressuring. Their life total, like, it's kind of the only move I have right now, to be honest. They're actually gonna block. That's interesting. That suggests that this is another. It's either like an Archfiend or it's another Unholy Annex. No, it's a Dread Knight, so I am going to take advantage of that. They're going to kill it. Yeah, okay. Which stinks, but it's okay. It's coming down to the wire here, folks. Okie dokie. So let's play the Reef. Play the Bronco. And let's kill here, I guess. Probably gonna kill the Bronco, yeah. That's fine. That is fine. This is not going too well this game. Okay, another Dread Knight, so they're going to get more card advantage. I am going to make another Fishy. Okay. No blocks.
Don't overthink things.
Ooh. Honestly, I kind of want to get rid of Liliana right now. I'm making him discard like a not insignificant amount of cards. Like, I almost wish I had my Jace.
Whatever. Luck favors the foolish, after all.
They're gonna hit me for 6 here, which is gonna hurt. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But unless they play a team, oh, they might get the cottage out. Oh, they're gonna play another Lily. Okay. Interesting.
This is my home, and I don't appreciate when people touch
Also
my
interesting. Card. Not a good card. Not the card you want here, folks.
Sacrifices must be made. I
have 2 Restless Reefs. And I think I have enough land. So that's 2. You have enough land, but I can't protect either of them. If they have a kill spell, go big. I don't think they have a kill spell. Oh, and now we're just dead. I didn't realize about the cottage. Yep. That stinks. That's it. Okay. Game 3. Game 3. Let's do it. As far as decision making there, again, like, should have kept one of the reefs back. And the spell setter up, like, probably should have been a little more defensive and not so aggressive there. But you know, you gotta take chances, I guess, every now and again. We'll save the anoint for. Ooh, if we get land screwed here too, this could be really bad. That's too much. Probably get rid of anoint if they're smart. Anoint's the only one of those that exiles, bud. So I would get rid of anoint. They did not get rid of anoint. Okay. Well, Gary. I'm immediately getting value. Oh no, they didn't. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's. And they'll probably kill it, but again. Virtue it. They'll probably get rid of my fairy here. Yeah, it'd be great to draw some land. Any lands at this point? Yep. No land? Okay. This might be how we lose our first match here, is with a whimper. Let's change doggos up. Yeah, we'll get angry. We'll get angry. Get rid of that. Still no land? Are you kidding me right now, game? And they're not doing much either. One land. One land. Thank you. It's tapped. Okay. Thanks. Finally. They know my struggle. They know my struggle. Oh, I have another anoint so I can get rid of their Mosswood. That feels good. Okay. And now the lands don't stop coming. So let's see if they can get rid of enchantments. It don't stop coming. Whoa, that's an interesting one. Okay. This little feller, this is a little sticky as well. But honestly, I think we just play our game. think we just play the game and make them have removal here. If not, like, I got a good block. Okay. Make them block it. Bring it back. They're not blocking it. Well, if that's the case... and we can get rid of the Alcazar, so we'll get a little value out of it this turn. They'll gain 4 life, but I don't know if that was smart not to block there. What, they'll probably take the Glissa? What do they have? They have Glissa? They have an Archfiend of their own. I mean, so they have options. They're going to play Archfiend. That's okay. Okay. That's pretty much GG. GG? That was a fun set. Very fun set. Very fun way to end it. Yeah, overall, look at us just climbing the ranks. We're in silver, folks. We're in silver. Really fun. I really like that deck. It just kind of feels like, with the exception of just kind of the random luck, that's just kind of part of Magic, as far as lands and things go. Yeah, it feels really strong. Feels really fun. So yeah, that's the first video in this little journey we're on. Thank you for the folks who did tune in briefly, and who knows what'll happen. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff on the YouTubes, and yeah, we'll see you next time.